Hi guys, this is Asal. I'm studying for the bar and I wanted to review my notes with you. So today I'm actually studying intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is IIED, and it's actually a pretty simple subject, so I want to jump right into it, make this a very short video. There are three elements to intentional infliction of emotional distress. So the first element is when the defendant engages in an extreme and outrageous conduct. The second one, the conduct must either be intended to cause the plaintiff to suffer severe emotional distress or done with recklessness as to whether the plaintiff will suffer emotional distress. And the third element is the defendant's conduct must actually and proximately cause the plaintiff to suffer severe emotional distress. So those are our three elements. The next thing I want to talk about over here is recklessness, because I mentioned recklessness a lot in my videos and it's very important, so I would like to define it every time. So recklessness is when she acts with unreasonable disregard of high probability that a particular element of the tort to which the recklessness relates will occur. Okay, and also what is extreme and outrageous? So I would like to define extreme and outrageous real quick. So extreme and outrageous conduct is conduct that passes all bounds of decency which a civilized society will tolerate. So it is something that is passed way beyond decency. What does this mean? So once one of my professors gave a very nice example. She said that this is, for example, when someone is walking in the street with her dog minding her own business and some gangster comes around and starts shooting the dog in front of her. So that is extreme and outrageous behavior. You know, you just shot my dog right in front of me and that is so shocking, you know, and really passes beyond decency. So this means that the conduct must be so outrageous as to stir resentment against an actor in the actor in the belly of a normal person. Okay, the next thing I would like to talk about is the test of extreme and outrageous conduct. Courts are usually more likely to find extreme and outrageous conduct in cases where the conduct at issue is an abuse of power of relationship. So what does this mean? Abuse of power of relationship. You see that a lot in like a work setting where like the boss kind of takes advantage or makes racial slurs. So that is extreme and outrageous behavior in a work setting. And also there's also the extreme and outrageous behavior in a home setting where we talk about domestic violence. And another thing that is also really extreme and outrageous is a conduct involving public humiliation or directed at a certain vulnerable group of people is more likely to be deemed extreme and outrageous conduct. So when you're actually attacking a certain vulnerable group, that is more likely to be deemed extreme and outrageous. Okay, so the next thing I would like to talk about is severe emotional distress. What does severe emotional distress mean? So this means that more distress than a reasonable person could be expected to endure under all the circumstances. Okay, so the next thing I would like to talk about is the physical manifestation. Okay, so this is some kinds of conduct are so outrageous that anybody could be expected to suffer severe emotional distress as a result. So IIED in a different plaintiff. This is I wrote this down and I really wanted to mention it. This is from the restatement, from the second restatement, and it says that if the defendant directs the intentional infliction of emotional distress conduct at an immediate family member of the plaintiff that is present, the defendant is liable for intentional or recklessly causing severe emotional distress to the plaintiff. So what does this mean? This means that, let's say that there's a really bad car accident and there is a husband and a wife, they're in the car together, and suddenly the husband gets chopped in front of the wife. So this is in presence of an immediate family member. So when that happens, the defendant may be liable for intentionally or recklessly causing severe emotional distress to the plaintiff. And also if the plaintiff is not part of a third person's immediate family, then the distress must actually cause bodily harm to the plaintiff. Okay, so the next thing I would like to talk about is to satisfy intent or reckless element, the defendant usually must know of the plaintiff's presence at the scene and know of the close family relationship. So, if someone is, for example, torturing someone else, and he must know that, okay, I'm doing this, and that's her father sitting there, or her mother, or her husband, like if they don't know, then that they're at the scene, then it doesn't satisfy the intent and the recklessness. Okay, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. There's more, so I'm going to be talking for another minute because I want to give two really important examples. One example is lying about someone passing away. So that is like an extreme and outrageous conduct. Like there was this case where someone told the woman that her husband had died, and as a result of that, she suffered emotional distress. So that's one. And another one that's very important that causes emotional distress is mishandling of a corpse. So, you don't want to mishandle the corpse. I don't want to go too much in that. And the third one is a public humiliation, or if the plaintiff is a member of a group with a special sensitivity or someone in a position of power. So that's like I told you before with the employer and the employee. Okay, so I would like to wrap up and in conclusion repeat what I just said. And that is, what is intentional infliction of emotional distress? The definition is that a defendant is liable when acting intentionally or recklessly with extreme or outrageous conduct that causes the plaintiff severe emotional distress. And mere insults are not enough, and this exceeds the limit of human decency so as to be intolerable to society. And the last thing I would like to talk about is courts are more likely to find conduct or language to be extreme or outrageous in two circumstances. If the defendant is in position of authority, like I just said, or an influence that can influence the plaintiff, or the plaintiff is a member of a group of special sensitivity. I feel like I'm repeating myself. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say about intentional infliction of emotional distress. I hope you enjoy studying. Good luck.